De Cuba traigo el son ritmo sabroso, de Cuba dulce caña y rico ron, café como no hay otro en el Caribe, y el más chiflado golpe del bongo. Por Cuba tengo la sangre caliente, en Cuba guardo el alma y corazón, y se alza con alegre melodía mi voz cuando mi negro rompe un guaguancó.
What's going on? It's the Big Red Bull Texas truck accident lawyer Reshard Alexander here on a Monday. Not much to report today. Still, sifting through paperwork and shredding and scanning and doing all that type of stuff. That will probably be what the majority of this week consists of. We will continue the parts and accessories for the necessary parts and accessories necessary for safe operations, part 3 today, as a board session. Other than that, it's not too much going on. I'm just working as I usually do here by myself. But I do have one thing. This, my friend, is a winner. Okay? Very delicious. 6 in a pack. It's only like $10, so you're paying like $1.80, $1.75 or something for each bowl. The FMCSA, by the way, is still looking for driver input when it comes to detention times at your loading and dropping off points. So if you are a truck driver, you should definitely submit that to the FMCSA, because they're looking for your input to make your job easier. Also, another thing, the FMCSA through its rulemaking ability is scheduling the new hours of service proposal date for July 31st. Of course, this date is fluid. It's subject to change, and it probably will change. I tell you what, one thing that concerns me is the fact that trailer orders have fallen to 3-year lows, or the lowest they've been in 3 years. Trailer cancellations have also risen. The thing about transportation and the thing about trucking in general is that trucking, like a lot of other necessary industries in our nation, is usually indicative of what is happening in the economy. So if trailer cancellations are taking place or trailer orders are going down, that possibly means that we are in store for another recession, possibly, or some type of economic downturn. It'll be interesting to watch as the presidential election unfolds and a president is eventually elected, whether or not our economy dips because of that, or if we somehow rebound from all of this. I don't really know what to think of it all, honestly, but like I said, keep your eye out on that. Keep your eye out for what's going on in the trucking industry because of that. Like I said before, I'm already eyeing what's going on with XBO Logistics, and I'm paying attention to the rest of the market as well, especially the rise of Amazon and its freight delivery system. Because, like I said before, the way this world is going, eventually all of us are going to end up working for Amazon or Google or one of these companies, are fighting against them because they are eating up jobs and paying people lower wages across the board. Personally, I think we're living in a gig economy. I don't think we've ever really truly come out of that. But like I said before, trucking is so important, it's so vital to our nation, because it really moves our nation. I mean, goods are produced, they may be produced in other countries, they may be produced in America, but they all have to arrive at your doorstep somehow, some way. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this is episode 36 We are discussing part 3 of parts and accessories necessary for safe operations here in the state of Texas when it comes to commercial motor vehicles. Today we're going to basically talk about tires, sleeper berths, and exhaust systems. It looks like we have maybe one more day left to discuss this part 393, and then we'll be moving on to another section. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to briefly, just address cargo securement. We've already addressed cargo securement in a previous vlog. If you haven't tuned into that, or if you haven't watched it and you're following along with this, you can just zoom back to one of the previous vlogs. And I think I've covered cargo securement pretty thoroughly. The only thing that I really want to say about it is obviously, the cargo has to be secured before you pull off from wherever you ship, wherever you're picking it up from. So I'm not going to go into the rules of that. If you have questions about that, feel free to call me, or like I said before, just tune in to the vlog or look back on one of the previous vlogs. Today we're going to focus on tires. So tires are covered in 393.75. Obviously, no commercial motor vehicle can have a tire on it that has body ply or belt material exposed. There can be no tread or sidewall separation, and there can be no flat or audible leak from the tires. Additionally, there can be no cut exposing body ply or belt material from tires as well. All of this is common sense material when it comes to tires, but it is law, so it needed to be iterated to you all. The next thing is at least, when it comes to front wheels, at least 4/32 of an inch tread groove pattern must be present on any measurement of a major tread groove for the front wheels. Now, this means that there can be no measurements on the where the tire bars are, where their humps or fillets are located. Okay. Additionally, there can be no regrooved, recapped, or retreaded tires on the front wheels. If there are regrooved tires and they're not used on the front wheels, then they have to have a low capacity, basically of 4,920 pounds, or 2,232 kilograms. Tire loading restrictions are capped by the sidewall tire restrictions. So, this is just common sense. When you look at your tire on your car, it has a load on it, a code. The same thing is pretty much present for the tire. You can't have a load on there that's larger than the sidewall restrictions, or those listed in the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards number 119, unless there is a special state permit that's been issued to you and you are driving at a reduced speed of operation of 50 miles per hour. The exception to that is manufactured homes. Manufactured homes has its own little set of rules, which I won't be going into today. I may make that another vlog, but I won't be going into that today. So if you have questions about manufactured homes, you can either look that up under 393.75, or you can just give me a call. When it comes to tire inflation pressure, no operation of a commercial motor vehicle with code inflation pressure less than the specified amount for the carry load can be present, pretty much. And if you are dealing with heat buildup in a tire, then the code inflation pressure will be measured by subtracting the inflation buildup factor. Basically what that is that if you have a max load that's less than 4,000 pounds, the code inflation pressure amount you're going to subtract is 5 psi. If there is a max load greater than 4,000 pounds, you're going to subtract 15 psi. So moving along to sleeper berth. Sleeper berths are covered in 393.76. The dimensions of a sleeper berth vary depending on the age of the vehicle, but we're going to assume that the vehicle that you're going to be driving or in, operationally using, is going to be somewhat manufactured after September 30th, 1975. Okay, so I didn't list all the other dates because those are for much older trucks, and I'm assuming that at this point everyone is driving a vehicle that more than likely was produced after 1975. The length of a sleeper berth has to be at least 75 inches. The width has to be 24 inches. The height has to be 24 inches as well. The shape on or after January 1st, 1953, generally speaking, has to be a rectangular shape, although there's an exception for the horizontal corners, and the roof corners may be rounded to a radii not exceeding 10.5 inches. Okay? When it comes to the access of a sleeper berth, the exit and entrance cannot be hindered. The occupant must be able to freely get in and out of the sleeper berth. When it comes to the location, it cannot be installed in or on a semi-trailer or full trailer other than a house trailer. Okay? It must be compartmentalized after January 1st, 1953. The sleeper berth must be located immediately adjacent to the cab and securely fixed. The opening or the doorway exit must be at least 18 inches high and 36 inches wide after January 1st, 1963. When it comes to the equipment in a sleeper berth, there are a few things that you need to know. Number one is that it must have adequate bed clothing and blankets, and either springs and a mattress, or an inner spring mattress, or a cellular, rubber, or flexible foam mattress at least 4 inches thick, or it can have a mattress that's filled with fluid to prevent bottoming out when the vehicle is in motion. All right. Obviously, every sleeper berth needs to be adequately ventilated. It needs to protect you against exhaust, against fuel leaks, against exhaust heat, and it must have a restraint system that is capable of dealing with 6,000 pounds of force from the front of the vehicle. Okay. If you are a truck driver and you are dealing with this type of issue, you need to contact an attorney immediately. There was a truck driver recently who passed away, I believe in West Virginia, because his sleeper berth was not properly heating, and he passed away, I believe, because it was just too cold in the sleeper berth, and that's completely unacceptable. So the last thing I want to talk about is exhaust systems 393.83. The exhaust system discharge must be located where it's not likely to burn or damage electrical wiring, the fuel supply, and no combustible part of the vehicle. It's common sense, but like I said before, it needs to be iterated because it's law and you need to know these things. The exhaust system or discharge cannot be located immediately below the fuel tank or the fuel tank filler pipe. The exhaust system may not be temporarily repaired with a patch or wrap material. The exhaust pipe and muffler must be securely attached, fastened to the vehicle. The exhaust system may not leak or discharge at any point forward of or directly below the driver or the sleeper berth compartment. If you're dealing with a truck or tractor, the discharge must take place to the rear of the cab or above and near the rear of the cab. And the last thing is if you're dealing with a gasoline injured powered bus, the discharge from the exhaust pipe must take place no further forward than 6 inches of the rearmost point of the vehicle. And if you're dealing with a diesel-powered bus, it must be 15 inches from the rearmost point or to the rear of all the doors and windows designed to be open, not including the emergency exits. This, I think, includes episode 36 and part 3 of parts and accessories necessary for safe operations. This is the Big Rig Bull signing out, hoping you have a blessed day. Take it easy.